Hey guys, welcome back to the Pop channel. Just a quick note before we go on to the rest of the deck profile. What happened was that I actually did try to record my face while I was talking about the deck profile, but however it just didn't work. It hangs, and the only workaround is try not to overload my laptop. I think it might be a little bit too old. They just don't make MacBook like they do anymore. So, because of technical reason, I'm not gonna be appearing at the right bottom side of the corner. So it's just gonna be a deck profile, and we're just gonna talk through it. All right. So without further ado, let's go straight into the deck profile. Hey guys, welcome back to the Pop channel. For this week's deck profile, we will feature something special. I have in this channel two guys from Singapore who are joining us to explain one of the decks which has been taking the local Singapore scene. And also, Alex, you said that you went to Malaysia to play with this deck and you took first place in one of their local tourneys too. So would you want to say hi, Alex and CS?
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Okay, your deck looks really interesting. So I have to admit that when you sent it to me, I was like, okay, wow, how do you play this? Because it seems really diverse. So maybe one of you could explain what is your deck about.
Okay, so what you're seeing right now is Shenron deck. The main engine of this deck is to ramp, and basically you start to play threats once you reach like 5 mana onwards. So I guess you can call it a mid-range ramp deck, so to speak. Yeah.
All right. So you said that you play traps. What do you mean by traps?
Oh no! I meant threats. So once this gets to about 5 mana, you can start playing threats every turn.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
So you start playing like threats when it gains 5 energy. But how do you get to this 5 energy? Of course, I understand that, okay, you call this deck Shenron Ram, right? So how do you ram the deck up?
Okay, so to quote Anthony Hernandez, the DPS god, if you play objection, you're
The
a bad
chief.
player. Yeah, yes, the god himself. Yeah. So I think it's pretty straightforward. What you see is all the classic and staple RAM cards like objection and waste. So generally you you aim to get to like 5 energy or 6 or 7 energy faster than your opponent. So you just have to curve out nicely. So for example, on turn 2 you can play objection, and then on turn 3 you can actually get to 4 mana and start doing shits. So yeah, once you get to perhaps like turn 4 onwards, that's when the game gets going and you start playing threats with all the good blue stuff in the deck.
All right. So would it be fair to call this a go-getter deck? And if this is not a go-getter deck and this is not fair to call a go-getter deck, why is it so?
I guess it's a upgraded version of Shenron Gochita deck. So what all those Shenron Gochita decks we've been seeing so far is the blue yellow variant. Although you see the 2 Gochitas in this deck, there are actually also some other outs in this deck. For example, at all costs, which is a very good finisher in the Shenron deck. And you also have you can see God Break, Son Goku. This card hasn't been seen for a very long time, but it actually serves a huge purpose in this deck. And of course the secret rare from World Tournament, Son Goku and Oop.
All right, that is a very interesting card. Why do you play this 8 energy card in? Because this is usually used in a World Tournament deck. So why is this deck in your why is this card in your deck?
Okay. I guess we can let CS explain about this card.
Just to touch up on earlier points, this deck, although you can call it Gogeta deck, but it's the purpose of that is actually to play Gogeta without using the Union Fusion, because normally you have to ditch 2 cards.
Yep.
Yep. So to bypass that, you normally would have to hardcast those cards. But because when you ram to the certain mana, World Peace that you override that for just 4 mana.
Yeah.
So it's to take advantage of that and basically play all the big stuff before your opponent can even play the game.
Right. So when you said that when you go World Peace for 4 energy, do you really use your 4 energy, or usually you go by the Shenron route to have a free World Peace in your turn?
It depends mostly on the scenario, but but a good example of the deck would be during turn 3 after you objection on turn 2. One of the better plays will be you hardcast Whiz, or you can cast World Peace for Whiz, and that's probably when around the time whereby you get to awaken, then you take back the World Peace. But because you ram 1 extra mana by a Whiz, now you get to free cast the World Peace again to pull out the 5-drop Gogeta.
Okay. So maybe maybe let's take maybe could one of you take us through the deck? What would be the perfect line of play?
Okay. So
let's say turn 1.
Okay, so let's start with the starting hand. So let's say a perfect line of play would somewhat be for example, you for a Shenron deck, it is ideal to awaken at turn 3. So perhaps the mulligan can include at least 1 Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Am I right to say that? Yes.
Yeah, in fact, you unless it's against aggro decks whereby you'll be pressured to awaken earlier, unless in that scenario, it's probably the best for you to keep only 1 ball in your starting hand, so that you get to use the front side of Shenron ability to find 2 balls per turn, which gives you +2 every turn.
All right. So what you want is there is no need to awaken fast. So having 1 Dragon Ball in your starting hand should be fine enough. And unless it is going against aggro, you want to go 15 faster, so it's easier for you to defend. So more Dragon Ball in your starting hand against aggro, but 1 Dragon Ball in your starting hand should be suffice against the rest of the other decks.
Because having 1 ball in your starting hand means you get to awaken on turn 3 exactly, because you find 2 balls every turn. So
yeah, correct. I totally agree with you. Actually, I find it a little bit too much if you have a starting hand too many Dragon Balls, because I think you do lose a lot of this draw power, because you use your Shenron to get the 2 cards to draw 2, and if it's already in your starting hands, you literally just replenish your starting hand. That's all.
It's a +0 if you already can.
Correct. Only with Shenron it's a +2. So all right. Okay, so that's that. So you have the best starting hand would be like having a Shenron. And what is a good thing to have in your starting hand? Let's say not against aggro, because with aggro, I would imagine a Crisis Crusher, a Sensu Beam would be very, very good to start with. However, let's say it's not against aggro, I would imagine, according to what you say, maybe an objection, because you want an objection at turn 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I would imagine also you would use your first energy to do a 1-star ball. Usually, what would be your target?
Any of the big drops if it's in a hand, or Whiz is also an option.
Okay, so your first turn you will already go for your 1-star ball, right?
Yep, you will.
Okay, so it's either with a one of these big monsters.
Yeah, World Peace is also an option to throw.
Okay, World Peace is also an option to throw, because you could take it back anyways later. Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, so what would be a turn 2 play then?
Turn 2 play, you probably objection, you find your 2 balls, and you have one energy remaining, which means you can play the second 1-star ball.
Yep, correct. Oh, true. But you will kind of tap out, right? But it's okay because turn 2
If it's
is
not,
still...
if it's a non-aggro matchup, normally the first 2 turns is fine. It's fine for you to take some damage or none at all.
Okay, yep, I totally can understand because if you're playing against Shenron, it's just not so... there's no reason for you to keep any open energy at turn 2.
Yep.
Yep. Unless it's Shenron veggies. Those things swing so hard.
Yeah,
Right.
that's when your bean comes in hand, and yeah, all the 5k 0 cost cards. Yeah, for
Yeah,
you to drop.
I can imagine. All
Yeah.
right, and turn 3?
Turn 3, you have 4 mana, so this is
Yep.
where you normally play with getting you up to 5 mana,
Yep.
and this is where you awaken, so you have another free cast, free play of World Peace.
All right.
So from here, you start to branch out. You have multiple options to play. You can either play the 4-drop Shenlong, or you can whiz again, putting up to 6 mana, which sets you at 7 mana next turn, setting up immediately for 7-drop Gogeta.
Okay, so at turn 4, you have a 7-drop Gogeta on the board.
Yep.
Okay, that would really hurt a lot. So you could World Peace out Shenron, you could World Peace out, or you could just go for Whiz, or
You can
could...
also go for you can also go for 5-drop Gogeta in this instance to draw 2 and remove whatever is on the board as well.
Yeah, so that's really important. Okay, so when do you set up this chain of spirited Surge and Shenron? When do you usually do that, or this is not necessary most of the time?
The trunks is there to form the loop, the trinity of Shenlong, which pulls out the trunks, which returns you World Peace. So this 3 cards forms a very strong link because in order to stop this link, you need to remove all 3 cards at once. Because any one of them remaining, they can form the whole chain again, which makes them very resilient on the board. So some players will choose to ignore them, and which
is
may
a
or may
big
not be the right
mistake.
move, because the longer it stays, the more it snowballs, and
Yeah,
you know.
I do play the Shenron Broly myself, and I do set up this Spirited Surge trunks and the Shenron combo because it's green anyway, and I
Yep.
always find that it's a huge mistake of them if they don't take out my trunks because
Yep.
this combo, this infinite combos where I could just World Peace or Child Wish something.
The problem
every
of taking out trunks is Shenlong will get them back anyway. So
Oh,
and
yeah,
even if you
true.
take out both of them, at once, remember that the trunks already give you back the World Peace, which means next turn you can potentially use the World Peace to take the Shenlong back from your drop, and you take back the trunks, which give you back another World Piece. So
It's
which sets
true.
you back at the same scenario.
Yeah, I think now, like people who are playing Zamasu, using the very lousy Zamasu card without destruction, but it plays it back into the deck. There is like so much better.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Because Shenron gets basically playing from your drop area anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say that's a good card. That is not a good card at all. But this scenario, it's the right mechanics that to stop that. What's going on with this deck anyway? So okay, let's maybe go to some tips on how to play this deck. What are some of the tips and tricks? How do you finish it? Or this is very, very open. What you guys have? So for people who wants to play this deck, right, wants to set it up, what advice would you give them? Like, for example, your win con. What are some things to take note?
Right. Depending on matchup, each of the big drops, the seven drops and the 8 drop, serves a purpose. Let's say for Gogeta, is Gogeta deep if it basically makes them play the RNG game. And the main highlight of the card is actually because it had deflect. it gets around Kubalalas and Crusher. Whereas if let's say you're trying to play around Mafuba, God Break comes really into handy because it gets your opponent can use counter and cannot use blocker too. So it has different outs to different scenario. Goku is obviously the ultimate ender with triple attack. With triple attack, Goku alone can ping off 4 energy and 4 life.
Yeah, even if they survive, they can't do much the next turn anyway.
Yeah, and it's a 50k double strike.
Oh, this is 50k double strike.
If you give triple
4
attack,
attacks.
Yeah,
4 attacks.
So right off the bat, you ping off 4 health, you ping off 4 life for your opponent, and you ping off 4 energy, which means most of the time they're probably going to be tap out.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is really disgusting. Really. How can you
Yeah,
guys
so
play such a disgusting deck?
well, I would say it's an all-rounder deck. So you know, it really tests your the capability to pilot the deck according to different matchups. So the most ideal matchup will always be a Shenron deck or just a control deck, a slow deck. So
Yeah, they're dead.
you're just playing the control game with them, you know, to see who outlasts each other. But because of the ramp mechanic in this game, you're bound to get there faster than your opponent. So that's where you start doing all your shits. So like what CS said, the ultimate ender would be the Goku and Whoop SCR. So once you get to 8 mana, 8 energy, I think the opponent can see what's coming. And if let's say they are facing a deck that doesn't use blue energy, I think it's a 99% win. Because the only thing to watch out for all these big drops is just really like Mafuba, or anything that can just stop the attack. For example, recently you know there's been a debate about group leader Pilaf. You know Pilaf deck.
Correct.
Yeah. The ability of Pilaf is to remove a keyword from the attacking card. So but after so many discussions and debates about the card, I guess the general consensus is that against a dual attack or even a triple attack card, even though if you remove the dual attack or triple attack, the card is still going to stand again.
Yep,
Yeah,
but
so
you know that someone posted a picture. I understand that the general consensus, right? But someone posted an email from Bandai, which we know that they have contradicted themselves in the past before. But someone produced an email from Bandai that says that dual attack and triple attack actually activates at the end of the battle. So when it activates at the end of the battle, if the skill is not there anymore, it does not restand. So, but understandably so, like I said, emails have contradicted each other before. So, but
that directly contradicts the rule manual.
Yeah, I totally understand. But we do have how do you say that? Bandai rules in contradiction to the rule manuals before, right? So, for example, like the Black Marseille does not affect. What does it not affect? Black Marseille does not affect Mecha Frieza, the promo Mecha Frieza.
Yeah, the Mecha Frieza from TPN.
Yeah, even though the rulebook would say yes, but Bandai just say no. So what can we do, right? So that's that. I would say that something to stop your triple attack would be Mafuba would do it. However, your God Break, there's nothing Mafuba can do. If you are facing against blue, then you could go for the God Break. Or if they don't have enough energy to do that, you just bait them to use their energy to defend themselves. Or the funny one would be that 4-drop Kinko. But nobody is gonna have 3 yellow energy to stop you, right?
I mean once you see your opponent having three or 4 standing yellow mana, then you know something is coming. So of course you start to play around that. Yeah.
You always have the option of going for Gogeta, so it's gonna be an RNG 3 card.
I hate this
Yeah,
card, really.
and we all know how much Melvin hates the 7-drop Gogeta. It's cause
because it's okay, so let's roll a dice, right? And especially if you're ramping up so fast that at turn 4, theoretically, you can
And
get to 7 energy.
just to add on, you can do it on turn 4, and you can even cast another big drop because you spend 4 mana to summon one big drop, 7 Gogeta. You still can free cast another War Piece to get another 7 drop on the same turn.
Correct. Wow.
And that's on turn 4. That's on turn 4.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
So if the game curls out nicely for you, on turn 4 you're already threatening to kill the game off already.
All right.
Yeah.
So what would be your worst matchup?
CS?
In theory, it should be Storm. I said it should be because I actually didn't really face much Storm, to be honest. Somehow they always avoid me doing Swiss, but but the Crisis Crusher and obviously the FR Goku was there to combat Storm. Yeah, and it's against Storm. The key card is actually not all the big drop. It's actually the 5-drop Gogeta, which is for all aggro attacks, in fact. Because if you're just going for 5 mana, you can in fact do it on turn 3 with still mana remaining to pen off against them. Because
I can imagine. Yeah,
most of the aggro cards doesn't have barrier, so the turn that you summon Gogeta, you probably remove 2 on the board already, and you draw 2, and your Gogeta is probably going to swing to another one to kill them. So that's actually 5-card swing in your favor. So that's actually quite a big tempo. That's actually quite a big tempo swing, and if you can recover from that turn onwards, normally we will secure the game from there.
Yeah, I could imagine that this is when at all costs Vegeta would be good also, because he can actually take out something on the board with just to increase your hand size, like take 2 life, and he could also take out some reds on the board.
You also have the option of going for game immediately, because you can always give triple attack and go for face.
Yeah. Oh, great. What about Janemba?
The Mew Janemba.
Yeah, so Janemba Mill. How would you go against playing this? Because no matter what decks you're playing, if you're playing Shenron deck, you're kind of playing with a deposit, because if you do some calculations, I think you start with a deck of 22 cards.
That is true.
Yeah.
The common consensus is Mew Janemba have a good matchup against this, but I don't really agree.
Okay.
In fact, what I did was against Mew Janemba, I rarely use the front side of Shenlong ability. That is to say, I do not use the ability to search for balls, for Dragon Balls. I let them mill my Dragon Balls for me.
What if your Dragon Ball is like the last one?
Well, I mean, if you are 1 or 2 balls away from awakening, then you can use the ability to find the ball yourself.
Okay.
But when you are still at the early stage, there's not much need to get so many balls, because Mew Janemba, they're gonna attack your face, so you're gonna get some cards.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not pressured to defend your life anyway, for the most part.
Okay, just to play your game, just let them bring out the Dragon Ball into your drop area for you, because if that is the case, you don't have to draw a card, and you just prolong your life a little bit longer, so that you could play your big drops to finish Janemba off, hopefully.
One thing to note that is because this deck, obviously the key points, the key card is World Peace, and World Peace plays anything for a drop. So anything they mill for you is actually part of your resources, which you can use later. So that milling for you is actually not that bad of a point.
Yeah, technically you're correct because if even if you don't have world peace in your hands, if they mill that world peace for you once you awaken or once you wish, then you can
Yep.
get one world piece back anyways,
Yep.
right? This guy comes from drop. With world piece, you can bring Shenron out from drop. Shenron brings can bring Trunks from drop, and you get to draw a card also, and then you can take the world piece back again, and then you can world piece again, right?
Yep.
And bring out something from the drop, which they kind of mill for you. All right,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sounds
So
really,
yeah. So
yeah.
so like to touch on what CS said. If you see the side deck, since we haven't moved into the side deck yet, so you can actually see that there are cards that can complement the matchup against Male Janemba.
Yep. I didn't
So
put
yeah.
the side deck in the in Shenron's lair because I have not figured out how
Okay.
to do so.
Oh, okay, okay. No worries. But anyways, I'm sure you'll show the side deck in another visual or what. But yeah, the thing is, there are cards inside the side deck that can complement the matchup against Male Janemba.
So
So,
what
for
would be the
example,
cards for male Janimba?
sorry.
What would be what would be the cards that to side in
Uh,
for Janimba?
yes. So in the side deck we have two copies of the Super 17, the Tournament Pack 5 promo. Two
Okay.
copies. Yeah, so that card is kind of a hand control card. So you can actually whittle down their hand with that card,
Uh-huh.
and because Journable is a very chain uh uh how do I say this? It's
They actually don't have that much pluses every turn
yeah.
because they are busy summoning all the Janemba that can mill you. So
Yep.
those cards doesn't give you pluses. So every turn they draw one, they charge one. And the thing is, those cards that mill you go to the bottom of their deck. So they actually minus from that. They, at to put it another way, every time they try to mill you, they are actually going minus as well from that
Uh-huh.
from the end.
Yeah. True. They don't have a lot of card draws.
Yeah.
Or they don't have a lot of mechanics to replenish their hand size.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, so like I said, there are two copies of Super 17, so that helps to control their hand a bit, and we also have two copies of the Dragon Radar. So we actually found out that Dragon Radar can actually take back the one
One
star
star
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
star.
So you can cast one star ball and make them drop another card from their hand. When like as CS said, the deck itself there aren't any pluses. In fact, you're minusing your hand every turn,
Yep.
and it just further destroys their synergy. Yeah.
All right. So
Something to note. The
yes.
Super 17 also helps because you don't want to draw from your zero cost Dragon Ball, you can actually use Super 17 to ditch two Dragon Ball from your hand so that you are not forced to draw one card.
That's very sneaky.
Yeah, that's sneaky, yes, but that actually helps prolong your game longer.
Correct. That's a really good idea. So when you're playing against Janimba, Janimba Meal, the important thing to do here is to make sure that you. So let me sum up. Don't use the draw from your Dragon Ball. I know it's very tempting to do so, but try not to do it because it actually minus from your deck, and let Janimba do the milling for you. And also bear in mind that your goal is also to whittle down their hands as much as possible. So side decking cards like the Tournament Pack Super 17 that makes you drop 2 for your opponents to drop 2. This is something that you should do. And if you have Dragon Ball in your hands, use this opportunity to drop that 2 so that you don't draw from it and you still populate your drop area with Dragon Ball to achieve your awakening effect. Yep.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Alright.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add on,
Yep.
this the matchup isn't as bad if they didn't side in Dende. if they did, it's still not that bad. Just that objection, you probably won't objection on turn 2. You normally keep objection till at least turn 4 before you actually start doing card ramping.
When I'm playing against, so because one of our local players, he plays Shenron Gogeta. So when I'm playing Janemba Mill, sometimes I side in the World Martial Arts Piccolo.
Okay.
Because him for 2 costs, he pops one of your opponent's energy.
Yep.
But that's a downside to Piccolo, because Piccolo, that to compare Dante and Piccolo, Dante you can pop energy every time you play Dante. Yeah, but for Piccolo, due to its effect, you can only do it one time.
Yes.
Effectively.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Dante, don't you have to put the card into the drop area?
It does, but yeah, it does. But I believe you don't have the requirement of having less mana, less energy than your opponent.
Don't have to. If your opponent ram one time, you could just do it. Yep. All right. That sounds good. So, anything to add? Before, so Alex and CS. I heard that with this deck yesterday, you won a major tournament in Singapore, right? So the winner gets 2 display cases.
Yeah.
And Alex, you brought this deck to Malaysia, and then you won one of their local tourneys also.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. So I'm really looking forward to playing with you guys again. It has been quite some time. So before we end this whole thing, any last word to say to people who are listening?
Well, I just want everyone who's seen this deck to give it a try. It might not take it might not be able to pilot it well the first time, but as you go along, you start to find out the wonders of this deck. And if a control tempo game is really your game style, then I would say this deck is the deck to go for in our current meta. So even if the with the release of Clash of Fates, the meta is going to change a little bit, and also with the ban of with the ban of Sun Goten and the death of Storm decks, I guess this deck will be around to stay for quite some time.
Yeah. Because I don't see any silver bullet that will hit this except for Dende. Dende will definitely hit this deck, but I guess the best I think the best that Dende could do is just to slow it down. That's it.
So to quote CS, even if you got dented, it's fine, because you can recover by actually ramping twice in a turn, and by then your opponent has no time to play Dante anymore, because you're still going to be way ahead of him, and he has to start worrying about all the big stuff.
Yeah. I definitely believe so. Dende would not be that effective against this deck.
I think CS has something to say.
Yep, CS.
It's more because you're ramping. You're capable of ramping more than once per turn, and then they have to spend 3 whole mana just to take away 1. So
correct.
On the grand scheme of things, you are still advancing the game while they are slowing down their own pressure just to remove just to slow you down by one energy.
Yeah, that's the same with Kami. Like for me, when I'm playing apes, like if they want to Kami me because I have too many apes on the board, go ahead, spend that 3 energy.
Yep. Because they are still not developing board for themselves.
Correct. Correct. All right, great. Thank you guys, and thanks for the thorough explanation on the deck. So this will be the end of the thing. So people, if you would like to, so listeners and people who are viewing this particular video, if you really enjoyed this, give this video a like and comment, subscribe, let me know so that the channel can bring you more of this stuff where we source around for people around the world or around my contacts who are doing like interesting decks that have been dominating the local metas. So that's that. And subscribe, comment, and just let me know. If not, see you guys in the next video. All right. So ciao guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.